For millions of years, humans wore absolutely nothing. Clothing didn't exist because nobody needed it. Their greatest survival tool wasn't clothing. Their bodies had another way to stay cool. Losing fur changed everything. Then humans left Africa. Ahead waited a world no human had ever seen. The air became colder every single day. For the first time, warmth began to disappear. Fire could warm the camp, but not the journey. Then winter struck without mercy. Their bodies were no longer enough. One successful hunt changed human history. For the first time, someone saw more than food. That simple idea became humanity's first clothing. But one animal hide was never enough. The first challenge was making animal skin usable. They discovered that preparation changed everything. But a loose hide could not survive the wind. Humans needed clothing that moved with them. Then humans created something even more powerful: sewing. A tiny bone tool changed what humans could wear. The thread came from the animals they hunted. Slowly, simple hides became real clothing. Clothing allowed humans to enter impossible worlds. But the cold attacked more than just the body. The first boots protected every step. Soon, every layer had a purpose. Clothing became humanity's survival technology. But surviving the cold was only the beginning. Humans had solved the cold, but the world kept changing. Different environments demanded different solutions. The best clothing was built from local resources. Animals provided more than just food. Warmth allowed humans to travel farther than ever. Humans reached places their ancestors never imagined. Protection from nature changed human migration forever. But clothing also changed how humans lived together. Knowledge became more valuable than any single invention. Clothing had become part of being human. But the coldest places demanded even smarter designs. Layers trapped warmth better than a single piece of fur. The hood protected one of the most important parts, the head. Hands needed protection too. Even the smallest inventions helped humans survive. Clothing changed how long humans could stay outside. The impossible became normal. Clothing opened the door to new continents. But humans were not the only ones wearing clothes. Thousands of years of survival created a new human advantage. But clothing was about to become more than survival. When humans settled down, new materials appeared. Plant fibers became the foundation of future fabrics. Humans learned to create something nature never provided. The first fabrics changed how humans lived. Clothing now showed where people lived. But humans also began using clothing to express themselves. A simple garment became a symbol. Clothing began telling stories about humans. The invention of clothing had created an entirely new human world. As civilizations grew, clothing became more complex. One invention changed everything: the loom. Threads became fabric, and fabric became civilization. Different climates created different clothing traditions. Animals gave humans one of the most important fibers. Wool kept humans warm across entire continents. But another plant would change clothing forever. Soft fibers created lighter clothing. Trade carried clothing ideas across the world. Clothing was no longer just protection, it was connection. But humans wanted clothing to mean something more. The same fabric could tell a different story. Color became one of humanity's earliest forms of expression. Rare colors became symbols of importance. Clothing began separating roles within society. War changed clothing into protection. Clothing became part of human identity. Some fabrics became more valuable than gold. The Silk Revolution changed the ancient world. A piece of cloth could now connect entire civilizations. Clothing had started as survival, but now it represented civilization. In ancient Egypt, clothing showed status and environment. Hot climates created lighter solutions. Cold places created completely different inventions. Clothing became a language without words. Religion also transformed the meaning of clothing. Leaders used clothing to show power. The same invention that protected humans now divided society. But clothing also gave humans creativity. Thousands of years later, clothing had become culture. For thousands of years, clothing changed slowly. Then technology accelerated everything. Machines could create fabric faster than human hands. Clothing became available to more people than ever before. But faster production created a new problem. The world was entering the age of mass clothing. For the first time, people could choose from many styles. Fashion began moving faster than ever. Clothing became part of personal identity. From animal skins to a global industry, modern clothing became more than protection. Some clothes were created for movement. Technology turned clothing into advanced equipment. The spacesuit is the ultimate human clothing, from freezing winters to outer space. But clothing also changed how humans saw themselves. The same invention now connects billions of people. Every jacket, shirt, and shoe carries a hidden history. Humans never stopped improving what they wear. The story began with one animal skin, but underneath every layer, humans stayed the same. Clothing was never just about hiding the body. It was one of humanity's greatest survival inventions. A simple idea changed the future of our species. Because humans didn't just wear clothes, we created them. But the story of clothing is still being written. The next challenge may not be Earth, but space. From animal hides to protecting humans beyond Earth, every generation solved the same problem. We didn't change the world because we wore clothes. We changed the world because we learned to adapt. The first piece of clothing was simple, but the idea behind it was enormous. Millions of years ago, humans faced nature. Today, we carry that same survival instinct. Because clothing was never just something we wore. It was a story of survival, creativity, and humanity. And it all started when one human picked up a piece of fur. But clothing had another hidden power. It allowed humans to enter new worlds. Without clothing, some places would have remained impossible. Clothing became an extension of the human body. Our bodies changed slowly, but our inventions changed quickly. This invention helped humans become truly global. But clothing also changed how groups identified themselves. A piece of clothing could tell a person's story. From survival, clothing became expression. The invention of clothing changed human behavior forever. A simple piece of fur opened the door to civilization. Yet every modern outfit still carries the memory of that first invention. The first clothes were not beautiful. They were necessary. But staying warm was only the beginning. Humans could finally survive beyond familiar lands. Protection changed the limits of human exploration. Humans were never the strongest creatures on Earth. They survived because they learned. And every invention started with curiosity. The story of clothing is the story of humanity itself. Because the clothes we wear today began with one human trying to survive. Subscribe if you love this video. And don't forget to subscribe our channel, Sapiens Senses. Thanks for watching.